idea how long this is going to take. We are heading in now for my very first installation. I have the guards in right now that I've had in since my second oral surgery. So I've been keeping these in to prevent the wound from like coming back and essentially protect my overbite from my teeth from hitting this wound. So we're heading into Dr. Emberle is who I decided to go with. He is he's an engineering orthodontist, so he is going to create a apparatus for my mouth that is going to be a combination of Invisalign with these metal bars installed on the side of my teeth to help widen and pull back my front teeth. That's going to create some gaps. And once those gaps start to form, then we're going to start pulling back my front teeth. So this is going to be a approximately 24 month, so 2-year process. And all of that starts today. Final big cheese. Wow, y'all are really getting all up in there. I'll tell you a little bit about what's actually going down inside here. My mouth hurts like shit. These bands suck. My speaking, everything has been terrible today. I didn't film after I got out because I just literally looked in the mirror and I cried because I knew that this was going to affect how I talk. It was going to affect how I move my mouth. And I just had like a freak out moment, to be honest. I got it done at like 11 was my appointment. It's 5 o'clock now. I finished all my client check-ins. I was able to still do my voice memos for my clients. Shout out to my clients for listening to my voice being kind of crazy. I definitely want to speak slower. So this is going to be something to get used to when recording because I'm so soft-spoken now. So this is the Carriere treatment, is this giant bar that you're seeing on the sides. And it is clear, and then it anchors with these vans. And so you really don't see it that much, but you do see my little accordion bands here. I have an Invisalign tray on the bottom and on the top, and then the anchors for the vans are back up in there. So I will see the ortho in 100 days. 100 days, they will assess if I need to be in the 10-day aligner still, or if I need to go to the 7-day aligners and get a little bit more aggressive depending on how well I'm doing. The goal with this VAR here is to widen and pull back my teeth, so I will start getting a gap. I'm gonna show you. Right here is where the gap is gonna come in. Once that gap starts to happen and my canines get hypermobile, great. Then this aligner is going to start being responsible for pulling back. But right now, this aligner is just responsible for, I don't know if you guys can see. I'm going to see how this front tooth crosses this one. So not only do I have an overbite, as you can see right here, but these teeth were dealing with some crowding and this one was crossing in front of the other. So we're correcting the crossover first, and then these gaps are going to come in on both sides to then pull my teeth back. So that is where we're at. And these have to be worn for 22 hours of my day. And these bars make for eating pretty effing weird. And of course I take the bands off to eat, and I take the aligners out as well. So the only thing that stays when I eat are the bars, the Carriere treatment. That is update on day 1, and everything feels really terrible. Specifically these teeth right here. I don't know why, but like it's isolated pain like right there. I don't know. Those are my most sensitive ones. Am I glad I'm going through this? I don't know. I'll tell you guys in 2 or 3 weeks and we'll see. All right, so come with me changing out my trays from tray 3 to tray 4. I was doing a 10-day tray aligner set, and for some reason they want you to save your old trays. So here's me putting the old trays back in the box. If y'all know, comment below why that is. I've been meaning to ask my ortho why I need to save them, but I think it's gross. Anyways, so my top tray is actually only covering the 4 teeth, so a reminder of that, and then installation of the bottom tray. They actually recommend to be doing this at night, but I wanted to have some good lighting to be able to show you guys. So here's me doing it in the morning, knowing I'm gonna get a long extended wear out of them before my next meal. And they give you these things called chewies to actually ensure that your newest tray aligns properly and you have no gaps between your teeth and the trays, and no moisture, no food particles getting in between there. You want them nice and tight. So about the first 1 to 2 days of wearing a new aligner, I actually do chew on this little chewy in the morning just to make sure everything's nice and fitted first thing in the morning. And as you guys know, the rubber bands is the most cumbersome part of this experience for me. It's also the most painful. They were absolutely right. My canines are hypermobile. I can actually move them, but here we are. Well, I just left the ortho. It was a bit of an emergency appointment. I am in month 2 of my trays and my whole Carriere In Motion process. And this morning while working, while recording a voice memo for one of my clients, no, Louis, he really wants this. I just was drinking coffee. I didn't have anything in because coffee really stains my liners, and I really try to keep them as clean as possible because once they're stained, it just looks, and it's just so much more noticeable because the bands and the bars are already yellow. So once these start getting yellow, it's just an experience I just don't like in my mouth. Visually, I don't like it. I'll be honest, it sucks. So whenever I drink coffee, so I have decreased my coffee consumption in month 2. Pretty much I've noticed that it's just been not worth it because of how my teeth end up looking. But I was drinking a cup of coffee and I just randomly noticed that one of my bars was loose. So I didn't feel anything when I was eating breakfast this morning. The breakfast I had was relatively soft. It was just egg whites, turkey bacon, and a whole egg and an omelet style. Again, super soft, hash browns. I've been really good about soft foods because honestly, I just don't like eating things that are super tough. It's just a challenge. Now, you cannot handle yourself, can you? But so I wanted to share with my experience of what it was like an emergency visit. So they were really quick and efficient. Essentially, the VAR broke off right here at that notch, and you can already, no, sir, you can already see where I already have a big gap forming there. Sir, sit. Essentially, they had to drill off all the glue from the previous bar, and these teeth, because they're in motion so much, and especially back here, are so sensitive. So that was probably the worst pain I have ever experienced in my mouth. Worse than the surgery I had in my front of my lip twice. Worse than, well, those surgery as I was numb. So I had no numbing, no nothing. They just went ahead and started drilling that glue off, and those teeth are just like icicles. And then they have to use this really cold water, also terrible. And then the taste, that is why all I want is this right now. It's melting. Louis going crazy. The taste in my mouth is absolutely god awful. And I brushed them at the office. I used mouthwash and it's still there. So I'm hoping that this gets rid of it. But also I just want something soft in my mouth. It hurts so bad. So that's update from month 2. All right, before we close out this little update video, I felt like I needed to give you guys some context. Context on why I actually decided to go forward with this procedure and go forward with this type of procedure. So back in August 2022, the reason why I was really not on a lot of social media or just a lot of YouTube, had no desire to do YouTube, because this whole thing with my mouth started in August 2022. I was driving to the gym. I actually popped 2 of my tires on my car and was waiting on the tow truck and decided that I was in a decent position to still go into my Olympic lifting session. So I literally, within the first rep of my Olympic lifting session, going overhead, hit the shit out of my jaw so hard. In fact, I was more worried about my jaw itself than my lip, but I actually bit my lip in the process, didn't even realize it. And my coach was like, hey, your lip is really bleeding. I'm gonna go get you some paper towels. And I didn't even care about that. I was like, oh, my lip will heal. I'm more worried about my jaw. Well, my lip did not heal. It formed what they call an oral fibroma, which is a mixture of salivary glands and basically scar tissue and mucus. It's terrible. So fast forward, end of September, this thing got so big, it had its own freaking area code on my mouth. You could see it when I would speak in Instagram. I was having a hard time doing consult calls. I was having a hard time doing voice memos for my clients. It was literally terrible. Got to the point where the dentist was like, we suggest you go see an oral surgeon. I got the sucker removed. Super easy first surgery. Within 4 weeks after the surgery, that motherfucker was back on my lip and even bigger than before. So the oral surgeon was like, okay, we're gonna have to go a little deeper if we're gonna remove it this time. And I had yet to start the process on figuring out the ortho because I literally just was feeling recovered from the whole first surgery to go have an ortho dig around in there, do x-rays and everything. So it's like I couldn't get ahead of the oral fibroma redeveloping. So I finally, after the second surgery, which was brutal, like he dug so far deep into here that I no longer have any feeling in my lip from the middle of this quadrant over. It's all cold. It's all like just basically numb. Okay, so the reason why the oral fibroma kept appearing is because I have a class 2 overbite that is extremely excessive. My front teeth, not only are they jutting out into my bottom lip, but they're also kind of crisscrossing. This little aligner right here is helping that crisscross currently and also helping those teeth to stay together as this Carriere treatment is pulling my teeth back. And so these would kind of start floating more and not being as structurally sound. So that 4 Invisalign holder is kind of keeping those teeth in together. But because of that cross, basically that was irritating and constantly developing trauma in the inside of my lip. So that trauma then turns into the fibroma, then turns into needing surgery. So the first ortho that I went to came highly recommended by my oral surgeon and dentist. And he was like, well, we can do this really invasive style of braces that's actually going to anchor some things into your bones, in your jaw, and you're gonna have to spend about 2 years in braces. And I was like, okay, so I'm actually gonna have to go under anesthesia to get these anchors installed in the bone, and I would have braces on for 2 years. Or I could go the route of braces for 4 months and we can do jaw surgery. They were wanting to do lower jaw surgery on me where we pull my lower jaw 4 millimeters forward, and then I would still have to be in braces after the jaw surgery. Obviously my career would be in a pretty detrimental space if I couldn't speak or eat for 6 to 8 weeks. Like that would be really, really challenging for my job. So while oral surgery seemed alluring because the time that I would have to spend in braces would be less, the 6 to 8 weeks that I would not be able to really speak and talk and eat food, I can't even imagine. I'm the head coach of my business. I wasn't in a place to make that decision. I went to my dentist and I was like, I really need a second opinion. I got a second opinion and I was so impressed because first dentist said I was not a candidate for Invisalign at all. And this dentist said, actually, you could be a great candidate for both jaw surgery, top and bottom. That would be far more invasive, far more recovery needed. Or he is an engineering orthodontist. Again, I chose Dr. Emberle for a reason because he works with Invisaligners along with the Carriere treatment, or these bars that are attached to the top of my mouth. Now that you guys are caught up to speed and understand the context, I always wanted to fix my teeth. I have had an overbite since I was in 5th grade. I sucked my thumb till I was 12. I had a very traumatic childhood, so sucking my thumb was a comfort thing. And you know, my teeth never really changed and we never addressed it because my mom was always told by a dentist that it would be for cosmetic purposes only. Well, fast forward, my teeth have shifted so much more in my adult life and I was suffering from extreme malocclusion, which is essentially none of my teeth lining up correctly. And now I actually physically not only had a vanity reason to do this, but now an actual necessity. I was literally going to be fighting an oral fibroma for who knows how long. While this is going to be a long process of 2 years, I'm so grateful that I'm doing it. I'm so grateful that I took the time when I didn't want to be on camera following this experience. When it first got installed, I cried so much, you guys. I can't tell you how hard this was at the very beginning. The first month was so challenging. It felt so awkward to have to go to the bathroom and take things out. I couldn't put the bands in myself without a mirror. Now I can do things so much more freely. It's just like a second motion to me. I can put the bands in without being in front of a mirror. I can put the bands in really quickly. I can take the trays in and out. Like, it's really such a seamless procedure, and I'm already seeing a difference in month 2. Month 2 was a big difference for me, and had I not had the footage that I had in this camera 4 weeks ago, I'm gonna get a little teary-eyed. Had I not had this camera footage from 4 weeks ago that I did not want to record at all, I probably wouldn't be here today. So grateful that I have this footage to look back on for myself and my journey, because I can see that change already in the footage just from the beginning to now. And I want to document this because when I was Googling and searching for somebody's testimonial or experience with the Carriere treatment in conjunction with Invisalign, it didn't exist other than just testimonials produced by orthodontic offices. So I wanted to be able to share my resource with other people so they can know that this is an option for adult ortho. This option is new technology, and not many orthodontic offices are using them combined. And what Dr. Emberle is doing with my little small Invisalign tray here is also extremely unique to my situation, to my circumstance, that might apply to somebody else here. Just like my contest prep series were little diaries for myself, this is going to be a little diary for me to look back on in the creation of the smile that I've always dreamed of having. Also, back to the malocclusion, I highly suggest anybody who's dealing with malocclusion, which is when your teeth don't align correctly, those impacts on digestion, on your body's ability to break down your food at its first location of breakdown, which is in your mouth. Digestive enzymes that aren't present due to malocclusion, all of these other things that are like in my health history in my past that leave me wondering, how is all this going to pan out when it's all said and done, when I'm completed in my 2-year journey? So I just got clearance to start wearing my trays for 7 days now versus 10. So we're going to speed up the process a little bit. In the next video, I'll share with you guys maybe the cost breakdown. I know that that's probably going to be really important. So thank you guys so much for watching. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. If you want to continue to see more of this, definitely let me know in the comment section below. If you have any other questions, I want to be able to address them as well. So I'll be definitely replying back to those because I know a lot of people might have questions. And I can't thank you guys enough for following along in the creation of my smile. And I will see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.
I'ma buy a mansion for my mama when I finally make it. Take all my vacations to Bahamas, always celebrating. Ever since my birth, I was the bomb, and now I'm detonating. No, you can't relate, you just can't relate. Every day I wake up like a boss.